We've got the hand weights today. I've gone for the heavy ones, so I'm being brave. Need to build those resistance muscles. So, keep them handy. Starting off, base of the big toe, base of the little toe and the heel. Find that start position with the pelvis, switch those tummy muscles on, shoulders back and down. We're going to start off with our toes hold your feet. Add in your alternate arm to leg. Good. One more either side. And then take both arms forward and up to the top. Come onto the toes, find that balance. Shoulders back and down. Arms all the way back down. Go again. Lovely. And one more. Brilliant. So then, grab your weights. Okay, so starting off, feet hip width apart. Bend at the elbows, and don't have your elbows locked into the side. Make there be a little gap. And then you're just going to open through the front of the arms, and then stretch those hands out. And then fold back in, and bring the arms back to the front. So, you're coming out to the side, reaching out, and then back in. Good. So we're working the back of the shoulders. Starts off super easy, starts to get hard. Good. Let's do one last one. Brilliant. And then back. Then we're going to come into some squats. So bring the feet hip width apart. Bring the arms forward. So you're going to reach forward as you bring yourself into that squat. Good. Last two. Lovely. Okay. Bring those arms down by your side. And then we're going to step back into our lunge. And then turn the palms so you face forward. Drop down into your lunge, bend the elbows. So you want to get down as far as you can into that lunge position. Good. One last one. Then come forward over that front foot. Take the shoulders back and down. Get most of the weight on the front foot so you can almost lift that back leg. Shoulders back and down. Push back with the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maintain that position. Lift that back leg if you can. Toe touch down. Lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. So bring those feet back together. Lovely. Stretch back with the left this time. Shoulders back and down. Turn the palms facing forward. And then drop down into that lunge. Bend the elbows. So a biceps curl with a lunge. Good. So then, come forward onto that front leg, shoulders back and down nice and open through the collarbones, almost to be able to lift that back leg, so just toe on the floor. Push back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A little bit more pressure through that front leg. Lift that back leg and then toe touch down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, so facing back forward. Bring those feet hip width apart. Open through the collarbones and see if you can bring those arms up out to the side and back down. So turning the hands so they point upwards. Good. One last one. Then step back with your right leg. Drop down into that lunge again and bring that right arm up to the top and side bend over. Good. Back down and go again. So you stay in your lunge, push the weight to the top, side bend over, and then back. Good. One more. Up to the top, side bend, and then back. Good. Swap over, other side. Take that other leg back. So you've got your left leg back into your lunge. Left arm, push to the ceiling, and then side bend. Good. Drop back down. Bend, push to the ceiling, side bend. Good. Brilliant. And then back down. Lovely. Okay, so move the feet a bit wider apart. Side bend down one side and reach over the top this time. And then back. Side bend down the other side. Reach over the top. Good. Do one more each way. And then come back to the center. Come down forward. Place the weights on the floor. Take the hands to the floor and relax through the head and the neck. Maybe give it a little shake. Releasing off through the jaw as well. And then stack those vertebrae one on top of the other. Shoulders back and down at the top. Feet hip width apart. Tuck your chin in. And then rolling down. And then back up. Brilliant. Okay, come into line when you're back on the mat. Bring your weights with you. Okay, so feet and knees together. Find that start position with the powers. Switch those tummy muscles on. Keep those ribs pressed down, arms out to the side. And then we're going to come into our hip twist level 2. So breath in to prepare. Take both knees to the right, head to the left. And then all the way back. Knees to the left, head to the right. Good. So keep those feet stacked. And you get that lovely stretch through the spine. Out breath. In breath to hold. Out breath. One more each way. And then back to the center. Have those feet hip width apart. Hands on the hips. And then just monitor the pelvis is staying nice and still. And take that right knee out to the side. Back to the center. Left knee out to the side. Back to the center. Good. Do one more each side. And then back. Okay, so then grab your weights. Bring your hands into what I would call a Cossack position. So you've got your arms at 90 degrees and you've got one hand stacked on top of the other. And you're going to take that top arm, so you straighten it up, and then you bend at the elbow and the weight comes down by your ears, and then you straighten up and pop it back on top. So you straighten, turn it down towards the ear, and then back up and pop it on top. So you just do one side. It gets quite strong on the triceps quite quickly. One last one. Even harder on the other side. So you swap the arms over, put the other hand on top. So you straighten up to the ceiling, turn the palm, so bend the elbow and you've got that coming down to the ear. I've got my left hand, so I'm straightening my left hand and then taking the ball down towards my left ear. Straighten up, straighten the elbow and back. Good, one last one. Brilliant. And then bring those arms up to 90 degrees above your head. Going to bring both arms overhead, keeping those ribs pressed down just as far as you feel happy. Round in a big circle and back to the top. So overhead, ribs pressed down, round in a circle, back to the top. Good. Okay, so then let's add some legs in. So push that right leg away along the floor, arms overhead, round and back to the top. And then that left leg, push that along the floor, round and back. So the key is keeping the ribs pressed down at the back. So if at any point you think you're done with the weights, just pop them down by your side. Otherwise, Keep on going, we're building that muscle strength. Good, let's do one more each side. And then bring those arms to the top. Take that right arm out to the side, palm up, and then back to the center, and then the left arm out to the side, palm up, back to the center. Then add in the hip twist on the leg. So you've got your feet on the floor. You're going to take that right arm out to the side, left knee out to the side, keeping the pelvis nice and still. Back to the center, left arm, right knee. Good. One more either side. And then cross your arms, cross your chest. Switch those tummy muscles on, press those ribs down. Bring that, push that right leg away into a straight leg. Bend at the ankle and lift and lower into a straight leg raise, getting those bottom muscles working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Fold that leg back in, swap over, push that left leg away, bend at the ankle, lift and lower for 10. 1, keep the knee nice and straight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Fold back in. And then we're going to come into our double tabletop, but if you prefer, keep the feet on the floor. So one leg to tabletop, squash the ribs down, second leg to tabletop. Okay, so I'm starting with the arms across the chest, but we're coming into our hip twist level 4. So you're taking that right knee and foot out to the side, back to the center, left knee and foot out to the side, back to the center. So although it's called a hip twist, we're actually keeping the foot and knee in alignment. So we're not really twisting around that hip joint. So it's quite hard to bring that leg back to the center because you really need those strong abs to do that. But it's a lovely opener through the front of the hip as well. Okay, so there, if you can add your arms in. So bring those arms to 90 degrees and then start off with the right arm on the left leg. Back to the center. Left arm, right leg. Back to the center. Good. So the out breath and the in breath. Good. Let's do one more each side. And let's just take those knees to chest, do a little rock from side to side. We're going to come back into our double tabletop. Starting with the arms across the chest again. I'm going to take that right foot to the floor. So bend that knee, push away along the floor, fold back in, bring the leg back to that start position, double tabletop. Left side, push away, fold, come back in. So really think about keeping those ribs pressed down, that lovely strength through the tummy muscles. So your pelvis is staying nice and still, the back isn't arching off the mat. So push away on the out breath, fold back in on the in breath. Let's do one more and then option to add in the arms. So bring those arms to 90 degrees above your head. We're going to do those circles again. So you take your right foot to the floor, bring the arms overhead, round in a circle, bring the foot back to the top. Needs a bit of coordination. Left side, round and back. So it's surprising how much extra having that weight on quite a long lever at the end of your arm makes to keeping that core strong. You really do have to work through that, pressing those ribs down and those tummy muscles. And breath, in breath. Good. Let's do one more each side. Remember, we're wanting silent shoulders, so knees to chest. We don't want any crunching through the shoulders, so keep within the range of movement that involves no crunching. Okay, bring the feet back down. We're going to bring those feet to hip width apart, bring the arms to 90 degrees, and we're going to do scissor arms. So that is the ribs pressed down, and the right arm overhead, and the left arm down to the hip. Back to the center, left arm overhead, right hand down to the hip. Good. So then, back to the center. We're going to take that right leg out. You know what? I can't do it that way around. Right arm overhead, left leg out straight. Mental block. Got to go with the right arm first and then swap over. So we've got the one leg stretch and the scissor arms. Okay, so you can stick with this or do the same thing but in our tabletop. So we're going to start right arm overhead, left leg out straight. Swap over, left arm overhead, right leg out straight. Nice. So again, we're really pressing those ribs down into the mat at the back in order to keep that strength and stability through the middle. Keep the arms in the range of movement that you can nicely control. Good. So let's do one more each side. Keeping evens. I've got one more to do. Lovely. And then knees to chest. Rock from side to side. Let's place those weights down for a second. Just need to stretch my hands out. Bring your feet back to hip width apart. Bring your hands behind your head. We're going to come into our abdo prep. So if you prefer, you can do just a spinal tilt. But otherwise, hands behind your head, elbows in the peripheral vision, that imaginary peach underneath your chin, and you're folding from the rib cage as you push, as you lift your head and shoulders off the mat, and then back down. Good. So the out breath as you come up, in breath as you come back. Good. Last two. Brilliant. And then we're going to come into our shoulder bridge. So just taking the towel out from underneath my head. Keep the hands behind your head actually, and then just think about tucking the chin in and getting a nice bit of length through the back of the neck. Just the reverse of that abdo prep really. So that nice bit of length, tuck the chin in and relax. Good. Okay, so head on the floor. Grab your weights. You're going to cross your arms across your chest, feet and knees hip width apart, and come up into that shoulder bridge. So just gently flatten the back, peel up into that shoulder bridge, breath in to hold at the top, and then back down. So keep thinking about where the weight is through the feet. So you want to keep it nice and even, left to right, base of the big toe, base of the toe and the heel. The temptation on the shoulder bridge is to just push up on the heels. Brilliant. So there. On the next one, we're going to come up into our bridge, bring the arms to 90 degrees, and then open through the front of the shoulders. So bring those elbows out to the side, and then back to the top. And we're going to do that for another 4. Elbows out to the side, back to the top. If you feel like you need to come out of the bridge, just do that. 3, 4, and 5. Lovely, and then back down, and bring those knees to chest. Perfect. Okay, so then one last one. Get rid of your weights. We're going to straighten that right leg out, and then see. Tell you what, we'll bring it into tabletop. Bring that right leg into tabletop. And then we're just going to see if we can switch those tummy muscles on and push with the left foot into our bridge. And then back down. So you've got the left foot on the floor, push into your bridge, and back down. So we don't want any back pain. What we want is the glute to do some work. Out breath as you push up, in breath as you come back down. One last one. Brilliant. It's quite a tough one. Okay, swap over. So right foot on the floor, left leg into tabletop. Think about that right foot, and you get it with base of the big toe, little toe, and heel, and then push up using that glute, and then back down. So push up and back down. Good. Another 3. Good, one last one. Good work, bring that foot back down. Bring the towel back underneath your head, knees to chest. Rock from side to side, just releasing off the low back. Then bring both feet down to the floor, slide away, bring the arms overhead and reach those arms overhead. So you've got that stretch through the whole of the front of the body. Good. Okay, so then we're going to turn onto our side, into our side lying position. Keep one of your weights handy. Bring your arm long underneath the towel. Feet, bums, shoulders all lined up against the back of the mat. And find that start position with the pelvis. Okay, so we're going to start off with our level 1 climb. So you want to take that top knee up out to the side and then back down. So have a little feel of the muscle just behind the hip bone and make sure that's the one that's doing the work for this exercise. If you're feeling it more down the side of the leg or the front of the leg or in the hamstrings, straighten those knees out a bit and then you'll target that muscle at the back. Good. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So keep that little gap under the waist there. Lift the feet into that level 2 position and then go again. Good. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Then leave that top leg lifted, drop that bottom leg down to the floor. Fold forward, knee to chest, into that side kick. Then take that knee all the way back through that range of movement, extend through the hip, and then fold back again. Good. Out breath, in breath. Good. One last one. And then leave that leg level with the other leg, hand down for balance. And then let's come into our open climb. So you're going to take that top knee up out to the side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Then fold that leg forward so it's at a 90-degree angle at the hip. And then go again. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. It's a bit mean. And then come back level with the other knee. We'll do one more set of each. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then fold back forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then bring that leg back. Oops. Mean. Okay. So let's squish the towel up. Bring your arms through. find your weight, and let's do some arm openings. So your knees are bent, the knees are staying on the mat. So you're going to take that top arm up over the top, get that lovely stretch through the front of the shoulder, middle of the back, breath into hold, and then back. And then go again. Out breath, in breath, out breath. Good. One last one. And then bring that arm long underneath the towel. Stretch both legs out, really fire up the glutes and the quads there. You have your hand down for balance or the hand on the hip, whichever you prefer. You want a little gap under your waist and lift and lower with that top leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. And then lift that top leg to hip height, lower leg to join. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Both legs back down. Now the choice. So grab your weight, bring the hand onto the thigh, and then you want to keep the palms facing towards me as you bring the arm up over the top, no crunching and clicking. And then think about keeping the head of the arm within the socket as you bring that arm back down. Good. So you're coming up over the top and then back down. Lovely. Now, if you want to add more challenge, lift one leg, lift 2 legs. Doesn't matter. Leave the feet on the floor. Really fire up the glutes and the quads. They are your stability. And then really think about keeping the arms centered within the socket as you bring the arm back down, controlling the muscles as they're lengthening. Good. Let's do one more. Perfect. Bring the arm back down, the weight back down. Get rid of the towel. Come up onto your elbow. So you've got your elbow just a little bit forward from the shoulder joint. Your knees are bent, and we're going to bring those arms over the top into a side bend stretch. And then back. Now, if you like, you can lift the hips as well, but then you're going to load the shoulder. So you lift the hips, coming over the top. Okay. So you can keep the hips down or you can lift the hips. The choice is yours. You can add in the weight. So you're here, reaching up over the top. Nice. If nothing else, it looks beautiful. Good. Let's do one last one. Brilliant. So get rid of your weight. Bring your towel to the other end of the mat. And then scoop yourself round. And then bring your arm long. Okay, feet, bum, shoulders all lined up against the back of the mat. Find that start position with the pelvis and some length through that top hip. Focus on that muscle at the back of the hip, just behind the hip bone. For everything to prepare, take that top knee up out to the side, back down. Good. So last part. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So then keep that little gap into the waist, lift those feet into that level 2 position. Go again. Good. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, drop that bottom leg down. Keep that top leg lifted and into your side kick. So you're folding knee to chest, bending at the hip, and then keep that knee parallel to the floor all the way through to extend through the hip, and then fold back forward. Good, one last one. And then just rest those legs down, give those hips a bit of a rub. We're going to come into that modified cloud. So you're going to lift that leg to hip height. You have your hand down for balance. And then you're just going to take that knee up to the ceiling for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Then fold that hip forward. So it's a 90-degree angle at the hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then bring that leg back and then go again. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Fold forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then drop that leg back down. Perfect. So then squish your towel up. Bring your arms through to your arm openings, one arm on top of the other. And take that top arm up over the top and get that lovely stretch onto the shoulder, middle of the back. And then back. And then go again. Good, 2 more. And that lovely stretch through the front, breath into hold when you get there, really using those oblique muscles on the side of the ribs as you bring yourself back over. The weight adds quite a lot to this exercise. Brilliant. Okay, keep the weight handy. Unsquish your towel and then bring the arm underneath the towel again and straighten both legs out. Really switch on the glutes and the quads. You can have your hand down or your hand on your hip and then lift and lower for 10 with that top leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. And then lift that top leg to hip height, lower leg to join. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And both legs back down again. Good work. Right, grab your weight. Bring the weight onto the thigh. And then bring that arm up over the top. And then really think about centering the head of the arm within the socket of the shoulder on the way back down. Good. And then up over the top. Think about those tummy muscles doing some work as well. Good. So there, you can lift 1 leg, lift 2 legs. Up to you, or keep those feet on the floor. Good. Let's do one last one. Okay, so drop that weight down a second. We're going to come into our side bend. So you move the towel. You've got the elbow underneath the shoulder, a little bit in front of the shoulder. You're bringing the arm up over the top. And then back down. But then you can lift the hips. Just watch the neck position with this one. You pin that neck over your shoulders, not poking forward. Lovely. Okay, so then at the weight, if you like. So palm facing the mid. Bring the arm up over the top and then back. Good. One last one. Okay, brilliant. So bring the weights so they're either side of the mats and then turn onto your front and just fold your towel to rest your forehead on your towel. Let's start off with our hands at either side underneath our shoulders and then just come up into that cobra stretch. So either onto the elbows or straight arms, whichever you prefer. And then back down. So just listen to your body, see how your back feels. Pushing up on the out breath, in breath to hold, and then back down on the next out breath. Just making sure that you don't have the shoulders around the ears, you've got a nice gap between the shoulders. Good, one last one. Perfect, so then, bring your hands down by your side, grab the weights, and then turn the palms so they're facing up. Shoulders back and down, switch the tummy muscles on, and then lift for 10 with those hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, we'll do a second set. They're quite hard, those. So, shoulders back and down. So you're lifting the shoulders off the mat at the front. That gets the shoulder girdle in the right position. Switch the tummy muscles on, and then lift and lower for 10 with the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Brilliant. Okay, so come up into 4-point kneeling then. So onto hands and knees. Knees and the hips, hands and the shoulders. And let's just start with a cat camel. So you're just arching the back, dropping that head down. And then drop the breastbone down, lift the head up, and then come back. Okay, so back to the centre. Push those hands away a little bit. Slide that right leg out behind and lift and lower for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Leave that leg lifted. Lift the opposite arm. So left arm with the right leg. Really stretch to the two ends of the room. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fall back in. And then we're going to swap over. So that, think about just keeping those elbows a bit soft. Pushing the hands away so the shoulder blades are in that lovely stable position. Slide that left leg out behind, lift and lower for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Leave that leg lifted. Reach that opposite arm forward and really hold there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then back. And then arch the back. Drop back onto the heels into a child's pose stretch. And get that lovely stretch through the back. Just take a couple of breaths here. Breathing right down to the base of the lungs and the tummy. Good. And then turn onto your back. And then just feet hip width apart. Let's stretch out the hamstrings. So hands behind the thigh. Reach that leg up to the ceiling. You can circle with the foot. You can point and flex with the foot to get a bit of a calf stretch. Good. And then take the right leg across the left knee, open through the hip. And then if you like, you can lift that left leg, hands behind that left thigh, and get a slightly deeper stretch through the back of that right hip. Good, let's swap over. Left leg, reach that up to the ceiling. Circle with the foot. or point and flex. Let's get that lovely stretch through the calf with the point and flex. Then we're going to take that left leg across the right knee, open through the hip. And then if you like, you can lift that right leg, hands behind that right thigh, get a deeper stretch through the left hip. Good. So then knees to chest. Bring yourself into sitting. Bring those feet together, up nice and tall. Almost chop my head off the end of the picture. Side bend through the neck. And then back and side bend the other way. Lovely. One more each side. Then just try taking the head round in a circle. So drop your head down forward. Feel that stretch through the back of the neck to the ear, looking up to the ceiling, other ear, and back, and then go back the other way. So you start with that flexion towards the ear, up to the ceiling, and back the other way. Brilliant. Stretch the legs out. Bring your nose down towards your knees. And just get that lovely stretch of the whole of the back of the body, hamstrings, and then the back of the neck. And then come up into standing. So onto hands and knees, onto the feet, and then see if you can stack those vertebrae one on top of the other, shoulders back and down at the top. Brilliant. Feet hip width apart. Get both arms forward and up to the top. And then really stretch with one, stretch with the other, and then hands behind your head. Then do a backward bend. Back to the middle. Shrug the shoulders, let go. Arms up to the top, really stretch, and then all the way back and down. Perfect. Brilliant. Well done, everybody. Good work.